Hello, and welcome to Unit 5. This is April 28th, 2019. Last week there was a lot of good discussions about critical thinking. A lot of people had discussed whether or not did they use critical thinking, did they not use critical thinking. Programming is kind of a language of problem solving. Right now you've been given, hey, this is the problem, come up with a solution. Later on, as you start to, those of you that have already experienced this in the real world, you're given a problem and then you have to somehow apply this tool set to what that problem is, assuming you even understand what the problem is to begin with, and you're not dealing with a symptom as opposed to an actual problem. The other thing that people didn't talk a lot about is the difference, people had discussions, is with the difference between an if-then and a case statement. One of the things I talk about is an if-then is awesome if you have two decisions. If you start to run into three or more, that's where you start to get to a case statement. And that's where if there's a range of possible items, that's definitely where you get into the case statement. This particular week, we start to run into loops. And, what's the difference between the for next and the do while, and when you use one and when you use the other. One to kind of think about it is a do while is you don't know what the exit condition is before you start. And a for next is you're pretty sure how long it's going to last. You're pretty sure everything that's going to be involved. And you know how many times it's going to actually last exit out. And then you also talk about the difference between a function and a procedure. A function will return a value. A procedure will usually change the values within it. And I talk about these in the micro lessons and different things along those lines. But I would encourage you also to look towards Unit 6 this week. And the reason I do that is, there are some people that are deployed and they have different things going on, and it has a tendency to, I'll turn this in late or turn that in late and things along those lines. The difference is the end of Unit 6 is a hard, fast deadline, meaning that I have to get in values and I have to get in grades when Unit 6 is done. And I know we're talking 2 weeks from now, but I do want to have that discussion now and say if you are going to have something come up, who has something come up? But if you feel like something's going to come up, if you feel like there's a possibility, work ahead and get that stuff done before it comes down to it, because I don't have the ability to be flexible on that last time. That one's pretty sure. Also, once again, the videos are not required. But if you do turn-ins on that last one and I can't download the information, I can't get the program to work, I'm not going to have enough time to email you in the hopes that you get back a hold of me to get that video in and da-da-da. I don't require it. You can't require it because it's not according to the rubric or anything along those lines. But some people have throughout the weeks decided that, I'm going to give myself a little bit of extra insurance and do a video anyway. And what's happened is I've actually had programs that don't work, but somebody had done a video as an insurance, so I just watched the video and it's all perfectly fine and dandy. So once again, they're not required, but for that last Unit 6 deadline, especially when I'm not going to sit down to probably grade them until Monday, and all my grades are due Wednesday, by the time I actually get to, because it takes me a long time to grade some of these things, by the time that I actually get to grading it, programs, it probably won't be till Tuesday. And then if I can't run them and it's a Tuesday, and then I'm writing you telling you, hey, I can't run this, it's a Tuesday and everything's due on a Wednesday, it's going to be pretty tough. So make whatever decision you like, but just for a heads up where that's concerned. But other than that, it's been good discussion. It's been a good class. And if you have any questions, feel free to continue to ask me. Watch your rubrics, watch your due dates, and good job so far.